So I'm going to record with my computer and then I'll upload it to YouTube later. Okay, so welcome, Catherine, and anyone else who bothers to jump in here or watch the recording. We're happy to have you here.
Right.
Last night I sent a link to everyone with the schedule of the conference, the backdoor links to get you into your session.
Mm.
And if you didn't get this, that means your email is probably not correct in our system. So hopefully you're getting this. We always have a few snafus with things like that. So, um, hopefully I will hear from people if they're not getting the information that they need.
Mm.
So every year I do it, I export the, conference sessions to a Google Sheet and then put the links in so people can get into practice early before the conference starts. So these links are private. They're just for us. They're not for the public. And they will allow you to get in before the conference goes live. So this first tab is how to find your session. It's also written in Spanish for our Spanish strand speakers. And then all of the session info is on this page. If you were late to register or to book your session, or been a change, a major change of some sort, your name will probably be towards the bottom, because I'm adding people there who have just booked and that sort of thing. So theoretically, it should be in alphabetical order, but it's not. It's in order of time, I think, right now. Starting with Wednesday, um, at 11 is when we're starting actually it's 11 o'clock Eastern. It's noon my time, I think.
Mm.
Um, I'm in Central. No, this is not right. I have to fix this. I just saw this. This should be noon. Um, wow, how did that happen? So, I need to fix this column. I'm glad I
Mhm.
figured it out right now.
Yeah, it's good
Um,
you're finding it now.
yeah, it's 11 o'clock my time. This should be East Coast time here. So this would be an hour later.
Okay.
Um, and anyway, if you use Control F, you can find your name. Just you can search the spreadsheet and find your name or the title of your presentation. Command F on a Mac or Control F on a PC. If you type your name in, um, it should highlight the session. It should pop up. For me, it pops up as green.
Mm.
Here it is. Here I'm right here in this session. So my name will pop up, and then I can see what time I'm supposed to be presenting. Okay.
Mm.
You do want to double check, maybe with timeanddate.com, or if you go into the conference platform and look at the schedule, it should be in the time zone for your computer. So you can look also there to double check things. Once you've come and found your session, you're going to see a link over to the right that will take you to either a stage or um, a session room for your presentation. And you can go in there and practice. If you're on a stage, you need somebody who's an administrator to put you on stage to practice. So book time with me if you want to do that. If you are in a session room, you're going to click on here and it's going to take you into the conference platform, and you should have admin privileges in your room in order to practice. You don't need me or anyone else there to do it. And I'll go into how this works in a little bit. Um, but I want to go through some other stuff first. So that's the spreadsheet. That's kind of like our home base for the conference, because it should be in chronological order, and we can see where we are in the schedule. If you're a volunteer, you can use those links as well to jump into sessions, and it's a lot easier to do that than to do it on the conference platform if you're checking rooms and that sort of thing. So make sure you bookmark this spreadsheet, and it's for presenters and volunteers only. Please don't give these particular links to the public. People need to register on the conference site and come in that way, if they're going to come to your session. So that's the first thing that I want to make sure everybody is clear on. And the next thing I wanted to do is go over,
Oopsie, can I just ask
yeah,
a question? You
yeah,
said that this
absolutely.
spreadsheet link was sent in an email yesterday?
Yes, yes.
Okay, I do not think I received that, so
Okay. So I'll show you what that looks like.
okay.
Let me go into the conference platform. And so I can send and see if people have checked. I can see if people have opened the emails. So here is under marketing emails. I've been sending regular emails on a regular basis. So this one was delivered to 95% of our speakers, and only 32% of people opened it. So let's see if we can see. Can we see who the people were that opened it? Um, so this tells me who has opened it, who hasn't, and I can download and look at that and make sure everybody has that. The other thing I can do to check, Catherine, is um, under registrants, you can tell me if we have your email correct. It should be correct because I grab it from the
Mm,
proposal form um, that that you filled out. So I did have somebody yesterday who wasn't getting my emails at all. And is that your correct email?
I believe so.
It
What was the
Catherine,
subject line? Yeah.
the subject line was under marketing. I did have somebody yesterday who wasn't getting any emails at all, never got a registration confirmation because she left out a
Mhm.
letter in her email address. So it should have been,
Presenter update 5?
that's not the name of it. That was the template name.
Okay.
Let's see if I can, it should have been, let me duplicate it,
Mhm.
um, and go in and look at it. It was Glow 2025. Your presentation room link is ready.
Okay, yeah, I got that one.
Okay, good. Yay.
Okay.
Oof. I
Okay.
worry. I worry. Okay, so you got
So the
that. Yeah.
so the spreadsheet is that link right there, the one
Yep.
under access your
Yep.
session
Yep.
information.
Everybody
Okay,
should
great.
have
Got
gotten
it.
this. This is your session.
Okay.
If people are presenting live, the content that I'm really showing right now really applies to
Mhm.
the people who are presenting live. People who are sending in videos, they
Uh-huh.
they do not have to book their session, just to be
Right.
clear.
Yeah.
I upload their presentation and then I schedule them during the overnight US hours
Okay.
when we're asleep and other people might be on the platform and want to see things.
Yeah.
So that and they have till November 15th to get that to me.
Okay.
Um, but most of this is really about live stuff here,
Mm.
in terms of being um, presenting during the conference. So this is just kind of a reminder um, about things. There's a lot of information in here, but it's a little bit repetitive. It's also in Spanish at the bottom, so you don't have to read
Okay.
that. That's for our Spanish language presenters. Um,
Okay. Great.
so this should have everything you need. I try to send out one update a week just to remind people and make sure people are doing things like they should. And you must have been getting my emails because you came to a training session. So
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
I know people are busy and I don't want to inundate them with information, but I
Mm.
also don't want to give too little information and then not have people.
Obviously, you have to find a happy
Um,
medium. Yeah.
yeah,
Hmm.
exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so here's kind of these slides are also in the toolkit. So I'm not going to belabor them too much because some of them are a little bit repetitive, but let me go through some of the information here quickly to make sure that you are comfortable with everything. So this is a tutorial slide deck that kind of goes over some basic stuff and has some suggestions for design, um, for technology, tips and that sort of thing. And it's pretty self-explanatory in general. There are, and a lot of this is repeated in the toolkit too, but I feel like the more I say these things, the better, the more it's going to sink in with people. These slides contain a link to the Ring Central Support Center, which has a lot of detail about specific things. Um, there's a link to a flyer here that you can share with people if you want them to come to the conference. And it's pretty self-explanatory. The events that I produce are different than other ones in that we're kind of building the airplane as we go. And
Mm,
it all kind of comes together in the last couple of weeks, and it's really exciting to see the quality of sessions, the variety of people from all over the world. And my hope is that everyone is going to come away with from this event, getting to know someone a little bit better, building their professional learning network, um,
mm,
having some high quality professional development that will influence their work, whether they're a teacher or an academic or an organization leader. And I particularly hope that teachers will take advantage of all the organizations that are around,
mm,
of the different kinds of programs, and find ones that are a good fit for them.
mm,
So, I believe that global competence is a really important skill set for people to have, whether you're a teacher or a student. And in the US right now, it's just not a priority. And so,
mm,
like there's no International Education Week. And this is designed to take place during International Education Week, and our US Department of Education is not doing anything
mm,
this year, which I just think speaks volumes
mm,
about what's going on here. Um, but we're going to keep at it, and
mm,
we're going to help inspire teachers and organizations and school districts to think about outside the box and to think about how they're connecting their students to the world, hopefully.
mm,
And so, part of this is a collaborative effort. It's me basically running this with the help of a few other people, but
mm,
we all have to kind of jump in there and promote and get the word out about it, and share information. So we're all essential to this process. We have promotional resources available for you. There's a
mm,
flyer that you can email or to people. It's translatable. We have social media graphics. We have uh, all sorts of copy in the toolkit that you can use for social media or however you want to see it, or however you want to use it. And this has been kind of our promotional timeline.
mm,
We're in the throes of step 3 and step 4 here, and we have some ideas on how to promote. One
mm,
way that I promote is I try to use LinkedIn groups that I'm
mm.
part of to share information about the conference. I
Yeah.
definitely use social media, although this year I'm not as doing as much as I normally do, just because I don't have time. Sending personalized emails to people, I've tried that method. Um, Letting people know about it and that sort of thing. And then there's institutional channels, whether you're affiliated with a school or university, perhaps somebody in your workplace can help promote what you're doing and acknowledge that you're promoting, that you're presenting at this conference. These are some sample social media posts, nothing elaborate. You can copy and paste them. There are other ones in the toolkit, but promote yourself. It's okay to be self-promotional, and
Mhm.
particularly around your own session. We want to get as many people as possible into rooms, but sometimes because of time zones and people's schedules, it's not always possible.
Mm,
Um, and everything will be recorded so people can come back and watch it. So
mm,
don't freak out if you don't have, 10 million people in your room. Present as if there were lots of people listening to you, and
mm,
people may reach out to you afterwards if they watched it asynchronously. So it's a little bit of a different model in that, the hope is that people will come live, um, but there may be some people watching outside of the regular time zone. So keep that in mind. Make sure you have your contact information in your slides so that it's in the recording if people want to get hold of you and that sort of thing. Um, Technical requirements. You should use Chrome ideally. I think Edge and Firefox are okay. Safari is not. That you will have problems if you use Safari. Um, I have a Mac. Um, I have an external mic and an external video camera. which adds to the a better quality of recording. You don't need to go and run out and buy that sort of thing, but you can use those tools if you have them. Having good lighting helps.
Yeah.
Um, and then for software, with your slides, there's a template that we'd like you to use, the beginning and the ending slides in your presentation, so that people have an idea of um, kind of key conference information. And you can make a copy of that in the toolkit. If you just click on the link, it's going to make a copy in Google Slides for you. We recommend you can import those slides into another platform if you want to, including PowerPoint or Canva. We recommend doing something that's web-based though, because the way to share your slides is sharing a tab from your browser. It just looks a little
Mm.
funky if you share a window or the whole screen. It doesn't look great. So we recommend that you use Google Slides or Canva or something that's web-based. So far as Keynote will not particularly work, and but you could export Keynote slides as JPEGs and use those, or as a PDF and use that as your presentation. You don't need a lot of transitions and fancy things going on when you're presenting online as well.
Yeah.
So what number one thing that we see people having difficulty with, particularly people who wait to the last minute and don't get in and try out the technology, is they don't enable the permissions on Chrome for their audio and their video. And these are directions on how to do that. There are a couple of places that you can go to do this. One is on the right-hand side of your browser. There's three dots
Hmm.
in Chrome. It should be up here. And you can go to your privacy settings here. Um, Under privacy and security, and then you would go to site settings and you would enable your camera and your microphone.
Okay.
Just as an FYI, while I'm here, if you have notifications going on your computer and that sort of thing, you might want to turn them off while you're presenting, just as a distraction. On my Mac, I can turn them, down and under do not disturb or reduce interruptions.
Yeah.
Or you can do things like in a browser, I think, in terms of that kind of stuff. But
Lucy,
you,
do you know
yeah.
about the browser Ecosia? Would that
No, I
work?
don't. I use
Okay.
Comet too, which is a one from Perplexity.
Okay. But you still say that number one browser would be
Yeah, it'd be
best would be
Chrome.
Chrome.
But you can try it out with something and see how it with another browser and see how it works, Catherine. I
Okay.
just I just don't want you to run into problems.
Hmm.
So try it and see if it works for you. Okay.
Yeah.
And make sure that you have your camera and your mic enabled. That's
Mm.
probably the biggest thing that I see people not doing. They're like, why isn't it working? Why isn't it working? And I've just learned over time that that's this is
Mm.
the way you fix it.
Open. Yeah.
Um, we generally had the platform works really well for us in general. It did go down a couple years ago, but it was before it used to be called Hopin. It was a European owned company, and a server went down somewhere in Europe and affected our conference for a couple of hours. And it was right when RingCentral had bought Hopin, I think. So they hadn't transitioned to servers here in the US, and now things seem to be pretty stable.
Mm.
We didn't have any problems when AWS went out a couple weeks ago. Um,
Hmm.
so I don't think it's dependent on that. But in general, the platform works really well. Sometimes there are bandwidth issues for people in bandwidth challenged parts of the world. We just did a conference for students, and we had some presenters who were presenting from Africa on their phones, and they had connectivity issues. So if
Mm.
there are connectivity issues like that, I recommend people turning off their video camera and just
Okay.
presenting from an audio
Yeah.
perspective, because the video just takes up hogs a lot of bandwidth. Um,
Mm.
but in general, it works well. I do not recommend presenting from a mobile device,
Mm.
but in the case of, sometimes in challenged parts of the world, that's the only device that's available. So
Yeah.
it's a little risky in terms of the success of things
Mm.
uh, with that. Um, there are two different types of presentations. There are lightning talks, which need to be kind of bright, kind of quick and to the point, and then general sessions. We want you to leave 10 minutes before your end time. We're not going to kick you out of the room or anything like that. But if you, we want to make sure that participants can get to their next thing with enough time, particularly the general sessions. The lightning talks, it's not a big deal because there's usually nothing booked after them. But general sessions, there's going to be something booked afterwards. And so we'd like you to, present for 20 or 30 minutes and then use the rest of the time into the 50-minute mark for Q&A. Ideally. That's my suggestion. It's not mandated. There are two different kinds of rooms. One, I recommend moderated rooms so that you have a nice, clean presentation. Open rooms, anyone can turn on the audio and video. So it's like Zoom. Um, and so people can just turn on their audio and video in the middle of your presentation, and you might find it distracting. You may not want them on your presentation video. Um, if you do moderated rooms, you can approve people to come on stage with you. And up to 50 people can have their audio and video on and in either type of room. So the default right now is for everybody to be moderated. If you really want an open room, let me know. But in an open room, you can approve people to be on camera, or in a moderated room, you can approve people to be on camera with you, like an open room. What I've noticed is that in open rooms, you don't have the same features for interaction that you do in open rooms. And those are breakout rooms, and I am trying to think what else. I'm not sure if it does polls either. These are the features that you have if you're in a moderated room for sure. There's a new feature for sharing documents. So you can upload like your slide deck or a handout for presenters if you want, or for attendees. There's a Q&A tab. There's a live chat in every room. You can put a different background on if you want to. That was new last year. And moderated rooms also have breakouts similar to Zoom. So you just may not have all of those if you have an open room. Stage presenters, it is a little bit more front facing. There are no breakout rooms. It's a little bit higher profile, but it's just a different kind of room. With the keynotes that are taking place on a stage, we're going to broadcast them to social media, which takes a little bit of extra work. Um, but people don't really need to worry about this right now. In stages, we start the moderator starts the recording. We have to have an admin moderator in the room for stages to start the recording and to put people on stage. In session rooms, you have a capability. The recording starts immediately as soon as you turn on the audio and video. You don't have to press anything, which is awesome. But you also have to be aware that anything you say or do with that is going to be recorded. Um, my suggestion is that people in session rooms get kind of situated, and when they're ready to start presenting, about 5 minutes before, they turn on their audio and their video, and the recording will start. We can edit the beginning of them, but just be aware of this. We had a presenter a few years ago that was talking about their college habits.
Oh no.
While they were preparing, and with their partner, and they were mortified to find out that it was recorded. I hadn't listened to it at all, but I was able to delete it and get rid of it. But I don't think they were particularly happy. They didn't realize it. You'll know recording is happening because there's a
Yeah,
red dot in the upper right hand corner and it says recording. And
right.
it's okay if you go in and record anytime while you're practicing. And we
Mm,
can tell which one is your official one, and we will publish only your official presentation. So don't stress out about this too much in general. Um, and we will publish your recording as soon as we've processed it. It takes a few minutes for it to kind of process on its own. Then we edit it to make sure that it's nice and tightly, there's no extraneous recording on it. And then within a week or so, I'll have the videos downloaded and put up into a Google Doc or a Google folder, Google Drive folder, where you can download your video if you want. And and you can take your video and use it however you'd like to. You can put it up on your own YouTube channel, whatever you'd like to do with it, it's yours. So we'll probably have that for you within a week. In terms of design, keep it simple, keep it large, make sure there's
Mm,
some contrast with things. These are just some tips. If you're not used to speaking to an international audience, think about your language and the idioms and the acronyms that may not be familiar to people outside of your country. Um, a lot of people will not be native English speakers. They'll be speaking, they have their own mother tongue. I encourage, there is a way to put on closed captioning in English in session
mm,
rooms individually, and I recommend that just to kind of keep track of things. Um, the Spanish track will be in two different stages, and Christina, our Spanish coordinator, will be handling everything there. We do try to put up the videos somewhere, I think, with subtitles at some point of the Spanish track. I think Christina does that somewhere. So just kind of keep this stuff in mind as you're preparing. Um, these are kind of the four things that you need to do between now and the conference: promote, practice, test your technology, and then come into the conference, a few minutes early, to test all your stuff. Um, these are some tips on how to kind of, again, around the design of your presentation. You don't have to do polls every 10 or 15 minutes, but there are polls there if you want to engage people and get their feedback and that sort of thing. Um, and there is a chat in your session room, and there's also a Q&A queue. And you can announce Q&A at the start of your presentation if you want, and say, if you have specific questions, put them in the Q&A tab so they don't
mm,
get lost in the chat tab. And that way you can address them a little bit more quickly, and you can put them on screen. I think you can put the questions on screen too, which is nice, for everybody to see, if you want. So those are some engagement tips. Again, this is kind of stuff that I've already said. Make sure that your lighting is good, that you're looking at your camera when you're speaking, not down at your slides. Hopefully you have a computer that you can elevate a little bit so that you're looking directly at it. Um, these are just some things to kind of keep in mind, because presenting online is really different than presenting in person. And I'm always trying to work at getting better at this. So I thought I would pass on some tips. With screen sharing, you're going to have a button that will let you share your screen. Again, share a tab rather than
mm,
a window or a full screen. It just works better. You can try it out and see how it works for you, but I find the tab thing a lot better. Um, have whatever resources or slides you're going to use, have them open in tabs before you present. If you have extraneous stuff, try to close it. Um, and make sure that your slides are in the presenter view, like that you have them in that play mode, so that they project correctly. And I'll show you what that means in a minute.
mm,
In terms of technical issues, audio seems to be a problem for people once in a while. Leaving the room and coming back helps. Sometimes restarting your computer, making sure Chrome is updated, all of that stuff, is matters. Um, there is a pre-event check link that is in the spreadsheet that will test your browser, your audio, your video, your connectivity, and help you figure out how to fix those if there are any problems. It
mm,
really, really helps, to do that. These are the tools I talked about earlier. I'm going to skip that. Here's kind of a day of the presentation checklist. A lot of this is kind of self-explanatory and obvious, so I'm going to not spend a lot of time on it. After your session, um, you can make sure people have your email if they want to follow up with you. Are tools on the conference platform that let you schedule a meeting with someone. So if there's somebody who wants to talk with you further, invite them to a meeting on the platform. You can have meetings up to 20 people on our platform without having to use Zoom or something else, which is
mm,
a really nice feature, and a lot of people don't take advantage of it. So we want you to network like crazy, and use those kinds of tools on the platform. So this is kind of what happens after the conference. Here are those resources I mentioned earlier. And these are some of our tips. You know, our the whole point of this conference is to share knowledge, whether you're a beginning presenter or a more advanced expert in your field. We don't want this to be an elite, look down your nose at people kind of thing. We want this to be collaborative and fun and engaging and leave people with actionable things they can take back to their institution to implement. And and so it's a little different than other conferences. It's not a formal one. We don't want to be boring and tedious. Um, we want people to be engaged. We want to talk. We're not expecting perfection either. So we want you to be yourself. We want you to share what you're passionate about. Um, and hopefully you'll add some people to your network as a result. So here's the final kind of list of things that we need done. Um, and I think I've gone over that like ad nauseum. So let me show you the platform. When you go into the event, it's going to look like um, this. And it's not live yet. I think on Friday I'm making it live. So you may see some people, there's nobody in here right now, I don't think. You may see people in here practicing, and they can use the chat and that sort of thing. But I don't think there's much else they can do until the conference is live, completely live. So on the left-hand side is the navigation. These different tabs lead to different parts of the conference. The middle is usually where the content is. And on the right-hand side, there is the event chat and a schedule where you can bookmark things that you want to go to. And I also put recommendations for various featured events there as well. Um, if you want more screen real estate, you can click on this arrow and close those tools while you're listening or working, and you can just pop it back out again. People get very mixed up because when they enter a session, the session tab comes up here, and they get confused where they're chatting. They think they're chatting in the session, but they're chatting in the event. So I'm going to color these tabs so that it's a little bit more clear to people, and I'll show you what that looks like in a minute with the session tab. The stages are here. When there's live content going on the stages and sessions, there'll be a little red live button on there, which attracts people, and people can just click on that. Or they can look at the schedule by clicking on the schedule and seeing what's coming up. Um, the schedule has filters. So if you want to see what kinds of events, you can do it by the type of segment, by keywords that are tagged. And I have not tagged sessions yet. I need to do that. And you can also search for keywords and names and that sort of thing in the schedule. Um, Sessions look like this. They are saying test run right now. When we go live, they all will not be showing. They'll show up like 60 minutes before your session starts. So people can't just come into your room. Um, and participants can just click on one of these rooms and go in. You can do that too, or you can use the spreadsheet that we sent to you. So if I go into a room, this is what it looks like right now. It's not recording. There's no red dot up here. And you can see on the right-hand side that there's a session tab. Here's the event, here's the agenda, here's my session tab. This chat, this poll, these people, Q&A docs, that's all for the session. So that's all for you to use in your session room. We also have those same tools for the event, but that's for the admin people to use. So this is the chat where you would, welcome people and put links in or whatever you want to do. Um, and I think they're not part of the recording either. So, if there's something that you really want to be visible in your recording, you might want to put it into your slides, like your
Okay.
email address or something. Um,
Right.
On the left-hand side, there are tools. It's a
Sorry,
little,
Lucy, can
yeah.
I create like the polls ahead of time in
Yes,
this?
yes, yeah, absolutely. You can,
Mm,
I think you can schedule them too.
okay.
So if you click on polls,
Mm-hmm.
you create a poll. They're
Mm-hmm.
very simple, and you can make them in draft form and then publish
Hmm.
them, or you can schedule them.
Okay.
So it's up to you. But please do, yeah. And you'll be able to see the data right away too.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Q&A looks like this, and you can announce Q&A so that people know that it's open. It just pays it so that they pay attention to it. People will show you who's in the room.
Mm-hmm.
And when you click on somebody's name, you can block them. There's like three dots somewhere. I don't think it's showing for me because I'm in the room. I'm an
Yeah.
admin, but you can block people, mute people, report people, and you
Oh,
can invite, and
that's so
yes,
unfriendly.
yes. And we haven't had anybody that's been really awful. Like we had in our last conference with it was a global student conference, and there was a school in Texas that I guess had students in it, high school students. And some guy
Okay.
from Africa, from Tanzania, reached out to one of the students and wanted to email them, and they all freaked out.
Oh, I
And I
see.
think I think this guy was just trying to be friendly. I don't
Yes,
think he
yes,
was,
of course. Yeah.
but schools are very worried right now, about
Mm,
predators and things like that. So
yeah.
they were concerned about it, and I felt like it was a little bit more of a cultural uh
Yeah. Misunderstanding.
etiquette.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But
Mm,
that's it. We've never had anybody cause a problem that I know of. But you can block people and report them, and then I'll get a notification and can do something about them. Um,
okay.
but everybody's always well behaved in general in my
Mm,
events. I've been really happy with things. Notice that under the people tab, the schedule a meeting thing pops up, and this
okay.
is how you can make meetings either on our platform, which would be virtual meeting, I think. Or
Mm,
you could probably add your own Zoom link or something there if you wanted to. This pops
okay.
up in a couple different places, but it's generally under the people tab. And then Docs is where you can upload slides, not for you to use, but for other people to, if they want a copy of your slides or something like that, or a handout.
Mm,
Um, and then on the left-hand side, we have these tools under this lightning bolt. This lightning bolt does not appear if you have an open room.
okay.
Um, this is the breakout rooms.
Uh,
This is where you request moderation of if somebody requests moderation. If they want to, that means they want to get on stage with you and turn on their audio and video, which you might
mm.
want if you're having a discussion. You can approve that and they'll be able to turn on their audio and video. You
Oh, okay. So in the
Yeah,
moderated room, when they join the session,
yeah.
so they are not there
They're
is no
not
audio or
visible.
video for them.
No, no, they're not
Oh,
there. But you can tell that they're there because you can ask a question in the chat and they'll respond, or you can look at people and see who's in the room.
and can they tell that themselves? Can they tell that there are other people in the room too?
Yeah, they can see people. They can see people in the tabs. They can see the people
Oh, so
list.
in that sense, it's not like Zoom where like what we're doing right
Yeah,
now.
it's
You
not
have to
like a
go
Zoom
see.
webinar where you can't communicate with other
Oh,
people, which I
okay.
like better. I don't like going to Zoom
Yeah.
webinars and not being able to see who's there or be able to
Right.
have like a back channel chat.
Yes.
And you can see more if you go to event and go to the people tab under event, you can see everybody who's registered. So like
Okay.
if I wanted to send, like I could invite her to a video call, schedule a meeting, or send her a message.
I
Uh,
see.
if they filled out and then I can also block her. Um, if if there's somebody who's filled out their profile, like this guy probably has, he has his LinkedIn in here.
Mm.
So I can click on here and go to his LinkedIn and connect to him that way.
Okay.
So we encourage people to fill out their profiles, but they may not. So,
Mm.
all the speakers have profiles.
Okay.
So, and the speakers, by the way, on the reception page, let me go there for a second and I'll go back to that room in a minute.
Mm.
Here's the reception page, which has some general
Mm.
information that I need to update. Um, um, and then the schedule is also available here. And
Mm.
then the sponsors are here, and you can click and go to their websites. And then the speakers are here too. So like
Okay.
if you want to like look at David Ross's website, you can click on it and go look at it. Or if you want to click,
Mm,
connect to him on
mm,
LinkedIn, you can. And so
okay.
we really encourage people to do that. Everybody does LinkedIn a little bit differently.
Yeah. Mm,
I used to not connect to everybody unless I knew who they were.
mm,
I'm a little bit more open about it now,
yeah. Hmm.
in general, but some people don't. And if they don't, they don't. It's not a big deal. Not
Okay.
everybody is like this guy didn't give me any information. So
Mm,
the only way you'd be able to connect with him is to look him up under people and send him a message.
okay.
Um, but for everybody's for the speakers, I created the speaker profiles based on the information you gave me in the proposal.
Application. Yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
and then this edit profile, this is your personal profile. You have to fill that out, and that
Mm,
looks a little different. It can be there's personal information that you can put in here um,
mm,
that's similar, and then you can also um, let's see how I can go back here. Then we also have interests. So you can say what
mm,
your interests are, and you can find people. If people indicate what their interests are, they can connect to you. So let's
okay.
say, the SDGs are of interest, or teachers, or virtual
Mm,
exchange. Um, you know, you can click on as many of these as you want, and people can find you that way under networking
okay.
based on your interests. So there's lots of kind of, good tools for networking. While I'm talking about networking, um, this is kind of like the directory
Mm,
of people, and they recommend people based on your interests. So you can send them a message. You can add them, like this person has a profile. Um, she's a program specialist for Bryan Innovation Lab. I have no idea what that is. And she's from Virginia.
mm,
And so I could, send her a message and say, let's connect, or
mm,
request a meeting, or invite to an instant video call, which might be a little creepy, but these are people that are recommended. But then there's also this tool called speed networking,
mhm.
and it's like speed dating. You join it and you're matched with somebody who else is online at the same time, and you have
Yes.
like a little like 3-minute discussion.
Mm, okay.
And some people do it. Some people are like a little nervous about doing it. I think it's kind of fun. I've tried it, and I
Mm,
met a really great teacher who works on a NATO base in the Netherlands.
mm,
Um, and that was super interesting. So
mm,
you can also extend those conversations to longer, and you can swap information. Like there's no way
mm,
for people to grab people's personal information unless they agree to be a connection.
okay.
Um, and then you can also search people. If you do connect to somebody, they'll pop up here. Their information will pop up here for you. Okay. There's also an expo. This is where our sponsors will have booths, and you can go in and learn more about them. It's very similar to a session room kind of thing. And then under replay, this is where the recordings will be, is when we publish them. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the session room because there's one more thing I want to show you with this, and then I think I've covered just about everything. So you can see I'm back in my session room. It says session on the
Mm,
right-hand side. I showed you the tools here. To join the stage and for the recording to start, I have to join the stage. So
mm,
this is where my audio and video settings pop up.
okay.
Command D or Control D will also toggle it. And
Mm,
you can pick a background. Um,
mhm,
you can choose which camera, if you have multiple cameras, you can pick whichever microphone you use. Otherwise, it will just do the default on your computer. There is some additional settings right underneath here that you have to toggle, and you can
okay.
mirror your video, which um, I don't know why you would want to do this, but like if I have a background that has text on it,
Yeah.
it may reverse it automatically. So you may want to mirror your video to have
Mm,
it show the right way. I think it just I play with
mm,
it.
yeah.
um, but you can remove background noise. I'm not sure what audio processing is. I guess it gives you a little bit. Oh, turn this on if you have a professional audio setup. Do not turn this off if you're wearing headphones. Turning
Mm,
off audio processing will turn off echo cancellation. Oh, auto
Mm.
gain and that sort of thing. So you probably do want to have this on.
Just keep it on. Yep.
Yeah.
Mm.
It may not be on by default. And then soft light gives you a little
Mhm.
softer view, and same with touch up video. I could use all the help I could get. Um, and then there's this pre-event check, which is also linked in the toolkit.
Okay.
And this is where you can test your connectivity and all that. You don't
Mm.
have to do this every time. I would
Yeah,
do
just
it once and
regular.
see if everything's working
Mm.
fine,
Yeah.
and then you'll be fine. So you can just come in here, apply the settings, and you're on stage. And notice that I have confetti going, which you may find annoying, and you can turn that off under attendee engagement if you find that annoying. And there's also emoji reactions and hand raising. You can leave them on or whatever you want to do.
Okay.
But it's recording. There's one person viewing the session. Um, I can mute if I have to, if I don't want to be on the microphone, if there's background noise or something. I can turn off the camera. I can go back to my device settings. Here are the emojis. Here's the hand raising,
Mhm.
full screen, and then there's closed captioning, which I don't think works during
So,
the
so
rehearsal piece.
Lucy, when I'm presenting,
Yeah.
will my video be just this my screen, my
Yeah.
PowerPoint?
So this is
Okay,
the
that
next thing. You're going to share your
mm,
screen, and this is where it gets a little funky.
okay.
So I'm going to turn off the closed captioning because I want more screen. This
Hmm.
button here, it says open share menu. It also should say,
You want to toggle back out because
you can't see it.
yeah,
Can you see it now?
nah.
Oh, can you see it now? I just moved up
Let me see
at
this.
at the bottom of the screen.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think I was
Okay.
zoomed in. That's
Okay.
okay.
So here
Mm.
is you have the ability to share your screen and the ability to share a YouTube video through a link. So
Okay.
if you have YouTube videos you want to share, that's totally fine. Just have them open in a tab so that you can
Mhm.
copy and paste the link in here really quickly.
Mhm.
Um, when you share your screen, you want to not have 5 million tabs open like I do.
Mhm.
Um, I'm going to click on my presentation here. So here's my slide presentation. And if there's audio in your slides, you want to make sure that this is enabled, this little toggle. And then you click on share. And what it does is and then what I want to do here, this is a Gamma presentation. Um, I want to make sure that I'm not sure if this will do it. I want to do it in presentation mode here. So I'm in presentation mode now. Okay. And what
Mhm.
this does is, I didn't want to go there. That's not presentation mode. Let me go back. Sorry. This is really interesting. I didn't mean to do that. Um, all right, here's my presentation. I'm going to put it into present mode, which has a toggle for it too, if I want to use it. Okay, so they're full screen, right?
Mm.
I'm going to go back to my room and I'm going to share my screen again. I'm going to click on the share menu, share screen, and my slides. And what it does is um, so this is what it looks like right now.
Okay.
And it looks nice and full and professional. You don't see, the slides on the side, like if you're not in presentation mode. Um, and if you don't like the layout, there are other layouts you can choose. This is crop. This is spotlight. This is floating. I think my picture's floating down at the bottom somewhere. And this is cinema. And cinema is like full screen. And your voice is heard and recorded, but you're not on screen.
I see. Okay.
Um, and so usually people I think are doing fill. Okay.
Okay.
And what it does is it opens up it has two tabs going basically. One
Mm.
is this one, which you'll see has a red dot on it. That means it's recording. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then it has the tab where my slides are, which will have like a blue rectangle on it.
Okay.
And see how it says this tab's content is being shared?
Mm.
That's so those are the two tabs. To make it easier for you, they've they've put links up here
Mm-hmm.
to that tab. So I can go and toggle back and forth
I see.
between the two. Google Meet also works this way a little bit when you're presenting in Google Meet. It
Mm.
takes a little bit of practice to kind of get used to this. So I would spend most of my time on my slides, right? And
Mm.
then I can move my slides with my mouse or my keyboard. And if I want to stop and pause and ask my audience for, a response to a prompt or something or question, I would click on this tab to go back and be able to see the chat. Does that make sense?
So when you're moving your slides forward, it sounds like you still probably need two monitors,
It's nice to have two monitors if you do.
right? One where you,
Yeah, you
mm-hmm,
don't have to, but it's
mm,
nice if you're used to two monitors, you can do that. But what I don't find it problematic anymore because I
mm,
just click here to go back to my slides and then I go through it and then I ask if there are any questions and then I switch back here
mm,
and I can see what's going on. Um, and then I can go
okay.
back to my slides and keep going. It takes a little bit of getting used to, but it's not bad.
Mm, okay.
Um, if you do want to share, I'm going to stop sharing. If you
Mm-hmm.
do share your screen and you go to entire screen, this is what happens.
Okay.
Um, it
Like
does
more the
that.
Zoom style.
It does
Oh, I
that.
see.
And I just don't think it looks
Oh,
great. If you, and once you're out, once you've toggled out of there, um, it doesn't look so bad, but when you get started, it does. And it does the same thing with the window if you share a window. Um,
oh,
and so I just don't like it. So if I share a window, I only have one window open.
right. And it's still,
Yeah, I wouldn't do that. And then this is where you share your YouTube video. You just have to have the URL
right. Mm-hmm.
in there, and it will be full screen. It will play really nicely. The audio will work. It works really well. So anyway, that's it in a nutshell.
Okay.
When you're done, you do want to stop sharing your audio and video,
Mm-hmm.
and the recording will stop.
Okay.
And then we can process it and get it published. We had
Mm.
at the last conference I ran, we had like 12 girls from India presenting, and they left like the computer on.
Oh, so it's
And
running.
so it was still recording nothing.
Mm.
And they left, and I had to like boot them out of there so that the whole recording would get processed.
Yeah.
So that's the only thing. We haven't had too many issues with people remembering to do this.
Yeah.
Um,
So s- so show me again that when I stop the recording and leave the page,
yeah.
so is that at the bottom or
So I'm going to make sure I'm joining the stage.
yeah,
Okay.
you join it? Okay.
That's the recording starts right away.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to share my screen
Yeah.
and pick my tab that I want to share,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
um, which might be my slides there.
Yeah.
And I can go back and forth
Mm-hmm.
between,
The
whoops,
two.
I just clicked on a different tab. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Oh, Howard Gardner.
yeah, he's going to be speaking at another conference that we're doing. His son is, we're doing a democracy summit in January, and
Okay.
his son is going to interview him about what it is
Um,
means to be a good citizen. So I'm
mm,
really excited about that. I was listening to his an interview he did recently, and anyway, I'm excited because his we had him present at the previous version of Glow, the global which is called the Global Education Conference, like I don't know, like
mm-hmm.
12 years ago with his son. And his son is a
Oh,
friend of mine.
mm,
And his son interviewed him and it was fascinating. And so they're going to do it again.
mm-hmm.
And
By the new,
he's really
yeah, new
interested in
context.
AI now. You know,
Yeah.
he's not so much
Mm,
interested in the multiple intelligence and stuff,
bunch of
but
stuff. Mm-hmm.
he has a lot of different interests. So anyway,
Mm,
so back and forth, you can do that. Anyway, I just clicked out of there. So when you're done, stop
mm-hmm.
sharing your slides go back to your room, and then click on stop sharing audio and video, and the
And
recording will
stop.
stop.
Okay, and then you leave, and that will cause you to leave the room.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
you can still chat in here and that sort of thing, but you're not being
Okay.
recorded.
All right.
All right. Does that help? Does that help you
Very
get
good.
started?
Yeah,
Okay.
yes. Very well
So
done.
you can
And
go
so
in and play.
basically,
Yeah.
basically this is it, right? So once
Yep.
I'm out, I'm on this interface, but I'm actually have left.
Yep.
Basically, the session is closed. Okay.
Yep. And you can go
Sounds
back,
good.
and you can go back in the room if you really want to. I mean, nothing
Mm,
is stopping you. Um,
mm.
uh, and this is kind of like the main page.
Right.
People will be, you can also go into the event tab here and click on chat and promote your session too,
Mm,
if you want to get people's attention.
hmm.
Um, but this is kind of like the main place where people will be hanging out,
Okay.
in general. Um,
Right.
and we have, I don't know how many sessions we have, about 100, which is about
Wow.
what we usually have every year
Mm,
over 2 days.
hmm.
I try to spread them out so that there's only, 3 or 4 an hour. In the midday, we have a lot. So that does dilute the audience a little bit. The
Mm,
majority of people show up the first day and the numbers are less the second day, but people
Yeah,
do come
normal.
back and watch the recordings. Yeah, that's what
Okay.
our data has told us.
That's great. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Okay.